Top story this hour, as it has been for many days now, of course, the uprising in Egypt. And I want to talk about what's happening in Cairo right now with somebody who lives there. Omar Hussein Shoaib is a former intern here at CNN, and he now works as a producer for a privately owned television station. Omar joins me by phone. Omar, first of all, just give us a sense of what you personally have been experiencing.
Well, Andrew, for the last 7 days now, I have been a part of what's currently known as the local protection units or local protection committees spread around Cairo. I think we're talking here about 100 to 200,000 people in the streets in Cairo, protecting neighborhoods, protecting buildings against really random cases of terror. Unexplained, if you may call it, because what we're facing right now, along with what's going on with demonstration, is a spread of irrational violence around Cairo by what sources call police thugs and former police secret service. So this is what I've been living through on a professional level. I work in a privately owned news network. We have been on the air for the past seven days, and let me tell you, we have not been covering the event for the first 5 days as well as I wanted, and for obvious reasons, because we were definitely pressured to maintain quote-unquote credibility and some sort of neutrality by the Egyptian Ministry of Information. Today, this has been broken. We are actually, for the first time, reporting what's going on directly with no bars. Actually, the Minister of Information, NSP, wanted all the privately owned networks to only transmit the local government network on the private network, a decision which was refused unanimously by all the heads of the privately owned network. And today we are showing people what's going on in Tahrir Square as we're speaking. We have actually been live on the air for almost 7 hours now.
And also, Omar, we have agreed not to name the local media outlet that you do work for.
Yes.
Well, obviously because of fear of reprisals, but now that you are broadcasting somewhat more freely, do you feel differently about it? Do you fear for what might happen?
I definitely fear of what might happen. The problem is that the regime is creating a sense of confusion. People, even protesters in Tahrir Square, up until very late last night, I know protesters, friends of mine, even activists who willingly conceded and said, fine, Mubarak has made new promises, and maybe a gradual leave of his presidency would be in order. But I think this was us being naive and giving credibility to someone who has been terrorizing Egypt and taking us downhill for the past 30 years. This morning, and what happened throughout the entire day, and CNN did a fantastic coverage of this. You've seen firsthand what happened after 7 days of peaceful protests. Now, the only day that pro-Mubarak protesters went down to Cairo to clash with the peaceful protesters, 7 days. Yesterday we had 1 million people in peaceful protests, something that never happened in Egypt before. And today, a couple of thousands of thugs go down to the square to terrorize, to burn up one of the most valuable places in Cairo, which is totally unacceptable.
I know that you know many of the protesters, Omar. Do they feel like they're actually making any headway here? I mean, you have to admit these demonstrations are just getting worse and worse, more intense and more violent.
Without a doubt, what happened today was the final and is the final nail in the coffin. Let me tell you, what happened today just pushed people to end this. if there was any leeway for this regime to continue up until September, it died today. Everything ended today. What happened today, Egyptian people will not forget this. Let me tell you, we are making headway. Egyptian protesters right now control Tahrir Square, have managed to fend away pro-Mubarak protesters and demonstrators. Have actually created an underground jail cell to capture the thugs and Secret Service people who terrorized the Tahrir Square today, and they're actually held captive in a metro station until they can actually give them to the army. But let me tell you, yes, there are all the protesters who have been in the streets for the last 7 days. They are still there, even after being brutally beaten down today, especially as you've seen and as CNN covered. Pro-Mubarak protesters, they were breaking the ground, using bricks to hurl them on the peaceful protesters, and even despite that, they went and they created volunteer doctors. They went and created makeshift clinics, and they healed themselves in these clinics. And now they're back, and they are. And as I'm talking to you, I am right outside my control room, in which I'm broadcasting live, and we are getting phone calls from people down there in Tahrir Square saying that pro-Mubarak protesters are again hurling Molotov cocktails from over the 6th of October bridge right down on the heads of the peaceful protesters right under the bridge.
Omar, I very much appreciate you speaking to us today, giving us your perspective of this remarkable breaking news situation taking place as we speak in Egypt.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you. Stay with World Report on CNN. We shall be right back with plenty more news right after this.